Your body goes through major shifts.
Pains, aches and pains that probably weren't there before.
And when there is reduced mobility, there's anxiety, there's stress. 75% reduction in chronic pain cases.
12-week structured approach to tackling the multiple issues that surround your aging around 40 and beyond.
I think muscles being the most used tissues of the body.
If you expect week 9 changes from week 1 body, that's not going to cut it.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Wellness Blueprint, a podcast by the Wellness Co, where we discuss everything to do with health, strength, and longevity. Today's episode is actually very special. We're going to be discussing what happens to the body as people are entering their 40s or are already well within their 40s. Things that come to mind here are pain that wasn't there before, slower recovery, weight that's more difficult to manage, lower energy, and things like that. Most people are told that that's just aging, but we will actually unpack the truth today. Dr. Nivedita will actually walk us through a very structured 12-week program that people can follow and notice some very substantial differences and changes within their body post the 12 weeks. The roadmap here is we first discuss why the 40s crisis isn't really a problem, what we can do to sort of fix the situations and fix the problems that come up as people enter their 40s and even into their 50s. And give you some very valuable information that can sort of put you in good stead as your body continues to age and adapt to its realities. So the first section that we'll discuss today is what's really happening in their 40s. And Dr. Nivedita here will walk us through exactly what's happening and what it is that we're going through at a scientific level. So please, Dr. Nivedita.
So when we are 40, your body goes through major shifts, and the shift is not cosmetic, but systemic. What you start experiencing is your joint stiffness and pain, which causes reduced mobility. And then you feel that your metabolism has slowed down. You see inflammation, signs of inflammation, and gut issues and bloating. Also, you start to notice that now you recover much slower from a workout or stress also. So you see, this isn't a single issue. And there is no lone gunman here, but multiple issues poking and prodding, and multiple systems are out of sync. And that's why one solution will not fix the problem. And your body will never respond to isolated interventions. What is needed is an integrated approach. And that's why today we are talking about the 12-week structured approach to tackling the multiple issues that surround your aging around 40 and beyond.
Before we touch on that program itself, we would like to also shed some light on the 3 systems that we think here we would like to fix as people are in their 40s or approaching their 40s. The first system, and I think one that obviously brings a lot of attention, is pain and movement. So Dr. Shrishti, if you can shed some light on what exactly is happening with people that are feeling pains, aches and pains that probably weren't there before as they enter their 40s, and sort of limited mobility and movement with activities that they were used to doing when they were younger. How exactly is that happening?
All right. The first and foremost important pillar for anybody who's above 40, their body is not acting the way it used to be. The joints are not that supportive, and the tissue and the cartilage is, of course, aging. And with pain, there is reduced mobility. And when there is reduced mobility, there's anxiety, there's stress. So 3 things that I would like to cover and touch upon is, when there's pain, of course, there's going to be inflammation. So we are going to enter the inflammation cascade where we lower down the inflammation. Second thing is nervous system regulation. When we are regulating the inflammation, interleukins, TNFs, we are also regulating our nervous system, because when mobility comes back, the confidence and the ability to move and do better things also comes back. And localized therapies like physiotherapies, cryos, and class 4 lasers are something that has shown 75% reduction in chronic pain cases. And that is where people start gaining that confidence back, that now our mobility is better. So there's nothing which is stopping us, but there's something which is lying just ahead of us that is more and more life and more enjoyment towards life.
So the next section that I think is very important to discuss here, the second system that I would like to sort of touch on, is the gut and metabolism. I myself, as I'm approaching my 30s now, have noticed that my metabolism has slowed down, and I'm not able to sort of eat as much as I was able to in my 20s or my early 20s and keep that weight off. And I'm sure that becomes a much more significant issue as people approach their 40s. So Dr. Nivedita, if you could let us know about how exactly that's functioning, and what people should expect entering in their 40s, how the metabolism might slow down, and what other gut-related issues they might experience through that time.
After you introduce movement, the next bottleneck to fix will be metabolism. What you start noticing is your gut is now much less resilient than before, and your inflammation rising, and also bloating. And one very important one is insulin sensitivity drops. So when that happens, you tend to cling on to whatever weight you have, becomes harder to lose your kilos, and even if you manage to, it will just come back. So that's one thing. Then fatigue. Regardless of eating frequent meals and paying attention, you still feel energy crashes, and you feel brain fogged because inflammation is rising and your brain is inflamed too. So all these signs are related to impaired metabolism and gut resilience dropping. So what you need to do is the second part, we'll like to fix the gut and metabolism by a multi-pronged approach as well.
Right. And as I said before, we will be covering the exact fix within that 12-week structured program that we're going to explain further down the road. The next system that we would like to shed some light on, which I think is also very important, is hormonal resilience and tissue strength. That obviously also tends to deteriorate as people get older, and into their 40s, they might experience that at a much more accelerated pace. So, Dr. Yashashri, if you could just tell us about that and how people could sort of maintain that through the years.
Well, hormones are the most important catalysts that aid to human function. And second thing, muscles being the most used tissues of the body, because that again aid to our movement. And when there is no movement, there's more anxiety. Inflammation, anxiety, stress, all of these things are interlinked with, of course, your muscle and your hormone. First, we'll go with the hormone, that there is decrease in bone density. Of course, it is very much pronounced in females because due to the levels that drop, the estrogen levels in their bodies during the menopause, this is where it all takes a 360-degree turn. And that is where their bones start getting brittle. And of course, due to the less uses of muscle and less activity across their entire body, there's something known as muscle atrophy, that the muscles decrease and shrink in size when they are not used properly. So that is also the tone, the tensile strength, and the atrophy of muscle leads to mobility lacks and issues that can have very, very deranging problems with them. Then there is, of course, the levels of stress during this time when everybody is paving through their careers, their lives, and there's something called as the midlife crisis that a lot of people face. That is when it happens that your stress levels peak up. So to manage each and everything on a very cellular level, it is very important to address these issues about bone density, hormonal changes, about muscle atrophy, and also about the sleeping pattern and the stress levels, which increase the inflammatory markers in somebody's body.
I think that really covered it all very well. Don't be too afraid. It's not very scary because now we will walk you through the 12-week program that can help you manage these things as you get older. So starting with that program, within weeks 1 to 4, things that people can expect, what we want to sort of look at is to reduce the pain and to reintroduce movement in some manner. So Dr. Nivedita, how would you counsel our clients or our viewers to sort of approaching that period between weeks 1 to 4?
Coming to the 12-week structured approach to tackling the problems in your 40s, as we have already talked about it, I would like to put them in slots. First is from week 1 to 4, we focus on calming the pain and increasing joint mobility and introducing safe movement. And once that happens, you move around and your body feels more confident and metabolism suddenly starts to improve, which is the next part of the program, but it's already activated once we introduce movement. The second logical step is from week 5 to 8, where we focus on repairing your gut and a cellular repair and mitochondrial function, which will lead to better energy levels and more metabolic flexibility by a personalized nutrition approach, and you'll feel more full of energy, and your sleep will start to stabilize as well. The third one, from week 9 to 12, we will focus on building hormonal and tissue resilience. And when you do that, this is the phase which is very important, because whatever you have achieved from week 1 till 8, now it's time to hold on to those gains and harnessing your hormonal imbalances will actually make sure that you will stick with the gains that you have achieved. And it's very important to sequence this trajectory, because the order matters as much as what you're doing. If you expect week 9 changes from week 1 body, that's not going to cut it. So what happens during this phase is your recovery improves, and your stress is managed better, and your weight stabilizes, and also you feel more energetic by the day.
Wonderful, perfect. So that is obviously some information on the 12-week structured approach that we wanted to cover on this podcast. There are a lot of things that I think people can sort of take away from this and integrate into their own lives. One thing that I also wanted to ask both of you is, within this structured approach, what are some things that people could come and do at the Wellness Co, which would help them during this 12-week program?
Oh, well, there are a few therapies that actually work on a very cellular level, because our cells are aging. So to reverse age them, there are certain peptides. We have NAD with us, which is now known as the magic peptide, which also gives energy. But also those are the most tiniest form of peptides which is available, that each and every cell can take up without much digestion. Second thing is that what we are taking care of is the gut microbiome. That is both through nutrition, but also we are doing customizable IVs, so that whatever deficiency is there and your gut is not able to absorb it because of any which reason, that either it's insensitive, either you're feeling bloated, and most of the supplements that you're taking over the counter, it's not absorbed properly, we bypass the gut and put it directly through your bloodstreams. Third and foremost thing is your whole body cryo and your far infrared sauna. Those are contrast therapies that increase your circulation and decrease your inflammation. Whenever there is increase in circulation and decrease in inflammation, that is when your anti-aging cascade starts. And that is when you start feeling that, okay, I'm integrating a lot of systems. Whenever you go to an internal medicine doctor, you generally ask them that why is this XYZ thing happening? But the doctor tends to point out at various organs which is being affected, which is affecting the whole body together. So that is how we are integrating everything, by focusing on the inflammation reduction, by increasing the mobility, by decreasing the stress, which we have by positive electromagnetic field, which is also there with us at the Wellness Co, which is bombarding thousands and millions of anions, which also help with your calcium metabolism. And one most important thing that we need to address is pelvic health issues for both men and women. So Kegel chair exercises, which is not possible due to the loss of tonicity in the muscle, it is something that we can actually stimulate at much more higher level with people who have faced incontinence. So those are some targeted therapies. Of course, like Dr. Nivedita said, that not everything suits everybody. So it's going to be very much personalized when we integrate the entire system and people start saying that, yeah, you're feeling younger.
Right. Understood. Perfect. So I think one word that was used there is the word integration. I think that's a very key word when it comes to this entire process, is because the body is one integrated system, as we know, and there are multiple things that you have to be taking care of in order to sort of help people age healthier, especially when they're entering their 40s. So I think that's pretty much covering everything that we wanted to touch on today's podcast. Basically, what it comes down to is that your 40s don't really have to be a time of decline. It can be a time of sort of change where you can intelligently sort of mold your body to age better and also feel better and be able to do more things and be more productive as you go through the years. The 12-week program that Dr. Nivedita told us about is obviously quite interesting. And if you'd like more information on this, you can just comment 12 weeks down below, and we will send you a written version of the entire program for your own benefit. So yeah, please reach out to us if you need anything. I hope you got a lot of information out of this. And thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Shrishti and Dr. Nivedita, for joining me on this podcast. And we hope it's a little less scary for people entering their 40s now moving forward.